Why everyone here is it seems like pointing their anger at the wrong direction with Drew Petzing. Don't get me wrong, he's got issues, but let's talk about Marv. Let's talk about that cornerback group. Are the Cardinals destined to fail on Sunday, and ASU finds a real identity? Let's talk about that and much more on this edition of the Ben Garcia Show.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need him. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
Woo! Are you feeling that? Are you feeling that? That's a divisional matchup waiting to happen this Sunday. However, right now, it is Wednesday, so we're going to get ready for that game. We're going to do our usual programming during football season. Monday, we'll instant reaction. I'll give you a couple of takes. Wednesday, we will turn our attention to more focused and approaches of which the Cardinals were not good on Sunday, and as well as we will talk about all things Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers. So with all that being said, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe button. It ain't going to kill you to press the X button out of the live chat and hit the thumbs up button. In fact, it's only going to make things better over here. So with that being said, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And let's jump into it. We are late this morning. And honestly, that just happens sometimes. I'm going to make the excuse again. This is a one-man band. You're looking at the camera guy, social media editor, content strategist, a script writer, director, host. That is me. That's why it's called the Ben Garcia Show and not the Ben Garcia Show and others. So with that being said, let's start right here. All right, guys. You know, I don't like to talk down, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm defending this person. But I do feel like there's a little too much blame going on the offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing. Now listen, under Drew Petzing, Kyler Murray has had actually that's not even true. Under Drew Petzing, the Arizona Cardinals quarterbacks have not had a 300 passing yard game since Miami last year, where they were playing catch up and they came back and won that game. And that was the first 300 game, and that is the only 300 passing yard game in Kyler Murray's career under Drew Petzing, and it's Drew Petzing's one in his entirety of being an offensive coordinator. Drew Petzing has issues. I am not here to defend Drew. The offense at times gets way too conservative. And the biggest issue, this is my biggest issue for Drew Petzing. It's not the issue trying to find wide receivers, because I don't think Michael Wilson sucks. I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. sucks either. I think Marv might be worse than we all thought, not better. But I know Michael is a solid 3 or 2 wide receiver, because every time his number is called upon, he makes the play. His number isn't called upon a lot. He's like the perfect number 3, number 2 wide receiver that you could ask for. When he is asked to make a play, he makes a play. He doesn't get it consistently, because that's not what Drew Petzing does. So I have issues with Petzing. He can't, spread the ball around more evenly. And this is what pisses me off. When someone in the chat, my guy Brian, absolutely says the correct thing. Drew Petzing calls the plays, 1st and 20, run left, 2nd and 18, run right, 3rd and 15, run up the middle. He's almost right, which is why I love the listeners of the Ben Garcia Show. Some smart people, they hold me accountable. But here's the thing. Drew Petzing sacrifices possessions because he's too damn conservative. And this is where I need to get on Drew Petzing first. But there's not much more I can say than what I've already not said 2 weeks into the season, and I'm not trying to rerun shows. But Drew Petzing concedes downs and possessions way too often. If the Cardinals get a holding penalty on 1st down, most teams are like, damn, all right, let's try to find something quick over the middle. Let's maybe try to get them with the draw play, and then let's try to make it 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and manageable for our quarterback. If the Cardinals get a holding penalty on 1st or 2nd down, the drive is over. The drive's over. And in possessions that are so valuable in the game of football, how many possessions did the Cardinals have in the second half? Like 2, 3, max 4. I think it was 3 total. That's how you lose games. You don't get the ball as often as you might think if you're Drew Petzing. This team needs to be able to not concede downs early in a drive, not concede possessions. Take a shot downfield. And I don't know. I think there's a clear argument to be made that Drew Petzing just doesn't trust Kyler. I know I got in trouble for that on the Cardinals squad show. My guy Alex Clancy had told me, he's like, well, that's not true. And I'm like, well, it might. I don't know if Petzing trusts Kyler to launch the ball deep downfield. But I don't know that. Like, you guys know me. I love to get angry at the quarterback. Not because I dislike Kyler. Sometimes people in the chat say I dislike Kyler, which is like, it's just asinine to me. Like, I wish if people like did 3 seconds of thinking. If Kyler Murray plays well, my life gets 10 times better. Why would I root against that? But, I digress. But Drew Petzing, it's interesting because I want to go after the quarterback. I want to hold Kyler accountable. But Drew Petzing doesn't let me. The training wheels are on this offense. And so when my guy Aaron in the chat says Drew makes Mike McCoy look good, I won't go that far because Mike McCoy was legitimately bad at everything. He was so bad, he got fired in his first 3 games of the season. Petzing knows how to run the ball. He's had really serviceable run offenses in his first 3 years as the Cardinals offensive coordinator. But I think it's pretty clear what the Cardinals are missing. And there's a quote out there from me when a Cowboys reporter reached out to me and asked me what I thought in the Cardinals offensive line coach, Clayton Adams. And I think my direct quote was something like, I'm absolutely pissed off that the Cowboys poached away the Arizona Cardinals offensive line coach. Because that guy is incredibly smart. He has turned an offensive line for the Arizona Cardinals that has been abysmal for my entire lifetime. The Cardinals have never had elite offensive lines. They've had decent ones, okay ones under Bruce Arians, led by Jared Valdir and Mike Upati. But I think it's pretty clear what the Cardinals are missing. We all devalued just how much an offensive line coach in Clayton Adams meant to this team. Because through the first couple of weeks, the Cardinals have lost their identity. They are one of the worst run blocking teams, according to PFF, and one of the best pass blocking teams. But they're one of the best pass blocking teams, and they don't throw the ball downfield. It's all dink and dunk, or Kyler making something happen with his legs and finding someone streaking downfield on a broken play, i.e. Trey McBride a lot in that Panthers game. The Cardinals are struggling post Clayton Adams. Justin Fry might be a good offensive line coach, but he just came from college, and now he's here in Arizona. And it's going to take time. There's an adjustment period. But I'll tell you what, Isaiah Adams don't look great. Jonah Williams don't look great. And because of those things, James Conner's not able to find the wiggle he used to. He's 30 years old. He's going to need a little bit of help at some point. And so I think we all devalued just how much the Cardinals miss Clayton Adams, including myself. It was an offensive line coach. And grabbing Justin Fry from Ohio State felt like a pretty solid plan to me. But it's clear Petzing is maybe over his skis more than we thought, and Clayton Adams was holding this thing together more than we thought. An incredibly bright offensive line coach that is now the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, which, look at the Dallas Cowboys offense through the first 2 weeks, looks pretty damn good, and if CeeDee Lamb catches the ball, they're probably 2-0. The Cardinals miss Clayton Adams. And it sucks that it's this early and this is what we're talking about, missing an offensive line coach. But I think that's one of the straws that stirs the drink. And it's why the Cardinals have to find a way to adapt and overcome. Here's my other thing. Marvin Harrison Jr. deserves way more blame than he's getting. Guys, I understand you like your guy. I do too. I wish Marvin Harrison Jr. was better through the first 18 games of his season. But can we not do this? Well, Larry Fitzgerald wasn't this good right away. Okay, it was 25 years ago where rules were different and it was all about running the ball and defense. And you played one less game. Marvin Harrison Jr. deserves way more blame than he's getting. He seems disengaged at times. He seems like already he's lost that confidence of, I am just going to moss you. I'm just going to route you, that he had early in the preseason. But in the Saints game, he had a drop pass or miscommunication with Kyler Murray for a ball that would have went 99 yards downfield. And then yesterday, or on Sunday, he dropped the pass early in this game. I think Marv is what he is. He's a low-end one that if you get him going early in games, he will be productive. But I don't think this guy's ever going to be Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or one of the elite wide receivers in the NFL. I don't know if I could buy into that. He's out there, as my guy Brian in the chat is saying, doing cardio half the time. And it's a really bad spot for the Cardinals to be. And you know what? Monty Ossenfort deserves more blame. Monty is not having a good year so far. The defensive line doesn't look great. Marvin Harrison Jr. does not look worthy of the 4th overall pick. And Darius Robinson was seen as an overdraft when Monty Ossenfort took him and put him on a milk carton. The dude has been missing ever since he showed up. Whether due to injury or when he's playing, he's completely invisible. And I think those guys deserve more blame. Shoot me. I don't know what to tell you. And so I understand the issues with Drew Petzing. God, believe me, man, I am here for them. But what cannot happen is just blame the offensive coordinator, fire him, and think all your problems are going to go away. Keep in mind, if you do fire Drew Petzing, I don't know that this is that big of a deal because whatever, you were already bad as an offense already. There's not many guys on that Cardinals coaching staff that has the ability to call plays or has never called plays before. So I don't know what to tell you, man. Monty's not having a good year either. It's not just Drew. I ask people. That's a really good point. My guy Chill Peasy in the chat. Darius Robinson ranked 134 out of 148 defensive linemen that played through the first 2 weeks. He's just been bad. He has been invisible. And that falls on Monty. I know it's easy to get into groupthink, guys, and see someone post on social media a picture of Drew Petzing and say, how much do you hate this guy? Or Photoshop or chat GPT him into some stupid thing that's never been funny. I ask you to do 10 more minutes of deep diving into the Cardinals offense. Watch some All-22 film. I know a lot of you guys like to do that. That's not like me being rude. That's me being serious. Marv looks disengaged. He's dropping passes. Drew Petzing is a part of the problem. And he's probably the biggest part of the problem. But he's not the only part. Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't look great. And I think going unscathed in a lot of this and is probably going to scapegoat Drew Petzing at some point is the GM, Monty Ossenfort. He has not had a good past couple of weeks. Will Johnson's been good through 2 weeks, but he's already injured. And what was the worry about Will Johnson in the draft? Injuries. Marvin Harrison Jr. has not looked good. Or I guess I should say Marvin Harrison Jr. has not looked worthy of the 4th overall pick. And Darius Robinson has been MIA. You have to hit on your first round picks. You don't get leeway with missing on first round picks. And so going largely unscathed is him. And here's my last point. A lot of teams right now are dealing with injuries. The Arizona Cardinals are dealing with injuries. And not just injuries, mass injuries in one part of the most important part of the field, the cornerback position. Will Johnson's injured. Garrett Williams is banged up. Max Melton, there's real concerns about him and playing for the rest of the season. But regardless, this week, they're probably going to be without their top 3 corners. Well, if it isn't the consequences to my own actions. First off, if the Cardinals played 60 minutes last week, those guys probably would not have been on the field, or at least Garrett Williams and Will Johnson probably would not have been on the field. So, if it isn't the consequences to my own actions. The Cardinals are dealing with injuries. And if they would have just played 60 minutes of football, likely that game's not close late in the 4th quarter, and Will Johnson and Garrett Williams are probably not dealing with injuries. This is what happens when you don't take teams seriously, when you let them crawl back into games. Guys have to play longer and harder, and then they tend to get injured. But regardless of all that, the Arizona Cardinals are dealing with injuries. Boo freaking who. You want to know who else is dealing with injuries? The Cincinnati Bengals. They just lost their quarterback for the year, basically. That's an injury that I feel bad for. The Cardinals, no. They've still got their left tackle. They've still got the pass rush. They've still got Kyler Murray. They've still got Trey McBride. Yeah, they're missing a cornerback or two. Boo-hoo. San Francisco 49ers are missing George Kittle and missing Brock Purdy. Injuries are not an excuse to lose this game. You have your starting quarterback. The San Francisco 49ers do not. You have to come out in this game and play a competitive football game. You could lose, and it would be excusable if it was close, and you'd say, well, tie goes to the home team. The 49ers won. Divisional matchups are tough, and I'll probably kill you for it, but I'm not going to go crazy about it. Or I'll probably go after you for it, but I'm not going to go crazy about it. Everyone is dealing with injuries. I do not want to hear if the Cardinals lose this game. Well, if they just had their cornerbacks, so what? Everyone has mass loss at one position every year. The 49ers have been injured since they started minicamp. It is not an excuse to lose this game. Go in there, punch the 49ers in the mouth, make Mac Jones feel some pressure, get a pick or two, and go win this first divisional matchup. That is incredibly important. And then you go 3-0 facing Seattle on Thursday Night Football, and you're kind of playing with house money a little bit. So I don't want to hear one excuse. 49ers have been injured since minicamp. The Bengals just lost their quarterback. The Jets lost their quarterback. The 49ers lost their quarterback. It happens. It's adaptable. Figure it out. And I don't think I'm alone when I say that. And then finally, I want to talk about ASU really quickly because they play a massive game this weekend in Waco against Baylor. I think ASU, just really quickly, found their footing a little bit against Texas State this past weekend. I think ASU found their identity. It's kind of cool. You know, I'm at the stage in my career where I get to go on, people ask me to go on their shows and that's fun. And I went on someone's show last week. It was an ASU podcast, and they asked me, well, ASU's wide receivers, they haven't been great. What do you say to that? And I said, okay, who was ASU's wide receivers last season? They beat U of A, they beat Iowa State, and they took Texas to as much as they could handle without any wide receivers. Jordan Tyson didn't play in any of those games. The foundation of ASU football right now, offensively, is run the ball. Kanye Udo and Raleek Brown are one of the best running back tandems in football. And ASU has found something there. Sam Levitt is still an extraordinarily big prospect. He's an extraordinary talent. He's an extraordinary prospect. And he's still someone that I'm keeping my eye on for the Arizona Cardinals. But the identity of this team isn't Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson are awesome. That's not an identity. Talent isn't an identity. But through the first couple of weeks, ASU has found something running the football. How did they get back in that game against Mississippi State? They said, Raleek Brown, Kanye Udo, carry us. Sam Levitt ain't having a great game right now. Part of it comes with finding an identity. And ASU didn't find it this early last season, but they found it so far this season through 3 games. And I was kind of suspecting it in the NAU game. I wasn't sure. And then I was absolutely sold on it in the Mississippi State game. ASU needs to pound the football. And what are 2 things? Like, I actually think ASU's defense has been mostly good. They held Mississippi State, outside of a horrendous cover 0 blitz that was Kenny Dillingham's fault and the defensive coordinator's fault. Don't call that in that situation. ASU's defense has been pretty good. I got not many complaints. And what travels well? Running the ball and superb defense. And ASU has the ability to do both. This team has found an identity. Run the ball with Kanye Udo and Raleek Brown, set up the play action, and hit Jordan Tyson over the top for a cheap touchdown. If they follow that sort of game plan to a T, while sprinkling in other wide receivers, and I know they haven't been great recently, but 1 to 2 catches here or there, ASU can be a team that can still get back in this Big 12 race. And if they beat Baylor on Saturday using this formula, then they know what they need to do when they play Texas Tech at home in a couple of weeks. ASU losing to Mississippi State really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It was always going to come down to, can you beat Baylor? Can you beat Texas Tech? Can you go 1-1 in those 2 games? And then hopefully they beat up on each other and the schedule breaks out your way and you win the Big 12, or you get in the Big 12 game by just jousting for positioning, and records look better your position. And records look better in this instance. And for you. But the identity is not Sam Levitt. It's not. Sam Levitt is awesome, but he's not an Andrew Luck level prospect. When he doesn't have, at least some weapons around him, he's not like Andrew Luck with Stanford. He's not going to take him to the Orange Bowl. He needs a little bit of help, like 95% of quarterbacks do. And Tyson, if he's bracketed all game, it still doesn't matter. I think he's the best wide receiver in the country. Sure, but lean on the run. Kanye Udo and Raleek Brown have been freaking awesome. The transfers from USC and Army. If they can use that game plan against Baylor, keep the scoring down at least a notch for Baylor, and defensively make the quarterback feel pressure in Jackson Arnold, ASU will win this game. I have not sold my stock on ASU. Mississippi sucked. That game hurt. But they could be just fine. It just takes them going out and winning this game on Saturday in Waco. And they have all the tools that translate from at home to on the road. Defense and running the ball. Punch the other teams in the mouth. And ASU has the ability to do that. And so I think ASU has a chance to come in and win this game. And then we're talking completely different about this team come, Monday. And I know Jackson Arnold's good, but if you keep him in the pocket and you make him beat him with his arm, I don't believe he can do that. contain the pocket, send a blitz, make him feel pressure, and ASU can win this game against Baylor on Saturday in Waco. And also, like, Waco, Texas sucks. Tempe's just better. Let's not lose to an inferior town. So with that being said, guys, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. That is all I have for you guys today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the stream. I will see you guys on Friday. Also, big guest coming up on Friday. I would say probably the most notable San Francisco 49ers reporter, beat writer, will be coming on the show Friday night, and I'll have that up for you guys on Saturday. I'll let you guys take guesses in the chat who it is, but you're going to say to yourself, how did Ben get this guy? And I did, and it's all because of you guys. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Do me a favor, share the show on social media. Tell people about us. We're here at 7 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Can't wait to talk to you guys then. Follow me on all social media platforms. Like, share, subscribe to the stream. And I will see you guys on Friday.